Their love was once a warm light in that simple life, simple but filled with laughter. He, a man who silently took care of every meal, every breath, for the small house. She, who was once the most gentle woman in his eyes, has now left, leaving behind her husband and child, taking with her the unfinished words of love. Episode 1 ends with a distant look in the husband's eyes and an unanswered question. Why did you leave? It rained all night, as if the sky was shedding tears for him. The house is still the same house, but since the day you left, it has become just a cold block of wall. Everything is quiet, even the laughter that used to echo every night. He sits quietly by the window, the place where you used to put small flower pots, the coffee cup you liked. Still on the shelf, no one cleaned it, no one drank from it. The scent you left behind still lingers somewhere, both familiar and aching to the point of suffocation. But what made me unable to fall was you. That house now only had the sound of sighs echoing in the night. The kitchen, cold and empty. The dining table held only a pair of chopsticks and an untouched bowl of rice. He sat alone on the old chair, staring into the space in front of him where she used to sit, used to smile gently as she picked up a piece of fish for him. His eyes were heavy, not only because of the sleepless nights, but also because of the growing void in his heart. He no longer knew how to start a new day, no longer had her voice whispering, "Wake up, the coffee is cold," nor was there a hand gently stroking his shoulder every morning. When men are hurt, they are often silent, and it is that silence that is scary. It gradually eats away at the remaining trust. He didn't cry, but his eyes turned red every time he saw the shirt she left on the bed, still smelling of the familiar, gentle perfume. Kam shuk trambuon, jua trek suat hien. The boy was only 3 years old, too young to understand the pain of adults, but sensitive enough to see that. His mother was no longer here. Daddy, where is Mom? Why haven't I waited for her to come home? That question was like thousands of needles piercing his heart. He could only hug his child tightly, burying the small face in his chest to hide the tears that were welling up every night. When he rocked his child to sleep, the boy would whisper softly, "Is Mommy coming home, Daddy?" A clear, innocent voice that made him choke up and unable to answer. There were nights when his child had a fever. He panicked, not knowing what to do. While coaxing his child, he missed her so much that his heart felt like it was breaking. He wished she were here, even for just a second, so they could take care of their child together. The child was the last remaining piece of love, the thread that kept him from falling completely. He smiled at the child so that he wouldn't feel the pain. But after the door closed, he sat in the dark, squeezing his hand tightly, wondering, "Do you still think of us?" Every part of the house held traces of her. The lipstick in the drawer, the comb with a long strand of hair still stuck to it, the small slippers lying in front of the door. Everything became a dull cut, getting deeper every day. He missed her smile, missed it so much that he could picture every detail just by closing his eyes. He missed the way she leaned her head on his shoulder every night, missed the times she got angry, then hugged him to make up. Even the little things, like her nagging when he was lazy to clean the house, or the way her eyes lit up when she saw her son playing. At night, when the city fell asleep, he would rummage through old photos. There was a picture of her holding her child, her eyes as gentle as the autumn wind. There was a photo of the two of them together, so happy he couldn't believe that today. He was the only one sitting here, facing the past and the pain. One night, he saw his son waking up in the middle of a dream, his eyes filled with tears, asking in his sleep, "Mom, will you come back to me, Dad? I'm a good boy. Mom, come back." Just one sentence, and his heart felt like it was breaking. He picked up his child, hugged him tightly, then looked up at the ceiling, where there was no answer. "Do you know that I still wait for you every day? Do you know? I tried to be strong, just because you can't lose Mom forever." His tears fell. A tear rolled down, gently, on the boy's soft cheek, and he held his child tighter, as if trying to protect that fragile soul from the cracks of love and loss. He sat by the bed, watching his child sleep soundly. The child's soft breathing seemed to echo with a quiet coldness in H.